So, okay, we're going to do Chazar, and the Maimon we started on page 30, which is the same as the other Maimons. Now, being the Biur Hiteb is what the Maimon is called. So, I'm going to give a Chazar on the third piece. What we said was as follows: that the din of Eglah Rufa. Now, din Shama, we just bring it as an analogy. The din by Eglah Rufa, somebody has a calf, and they think somebody dies, it's killed, and nobody knows what happened. So you take an eglah, and you have to chop it in the back of the head. And the reason is because they blocked someone, and you take it to Nachal Eitan. And the idea is that the river that can't make fruits, can't bear fruits. And the point was that they blocked the guy from making fruits. We wanted for this Nakuda. What does it mean making fruits? It means the guy can have children. So what about, say, if you kill a guy who can't have children? They said, no. Maybe doesn't only mean children, it means also mitzvahs. So mitzvahs are called fruits. So Alter Rebbe's hovering on that Nakuda. What does it mean? Mitzvahs mean fruits. And he says, well, just like if you take a karain, you take seed and you put it in the ground and put what happens, makes no sense. I mean, you put like an apple seed, strip it of the apple mist, all the meat, put in the ground, what happens? You produce an apple. It's ridiculous, right? How's it? So the question is, why does Hashem need you to put the seed into the ground? Why can't you make an apple without? Just make it happen, right? It's a fundamental question. Why does God need me to do something in order to make the bracha come down? So you need me to be part of this in order to, I need to invest something in order for something to happen. And you see it very clearly in everything else in life.
There's never something from nothing anymore, no?
Correct. It always depends on my se'atachtonim. In other words, if you want a shidduch, you want a bracha, I'll give you a bracha for a shidduch. Good. You know what you need to do? Look for a shidduch. Go date, go do the things. So it's like, why? If Hashem wants to do it, why can't he just make it happen? You want to make $100 million? You can't do babysitting. Wrong seed, right? You have to put the seed in the ground that's going to lead to whatever you want it to lead to. The Tasha Alter Rebbe asks, why do I need a seed in the ground? And his answer is that Hashem wants Ma'aseh Tachtonim, Or Zawala Tzadik. Hashem wants every person to invest. So when you invest, what makes it grow is the godly bracha. But Hashem wants you to invest in it. And then he explains that that's the way it works. If you look at it, it's very interesting. Pesach, how do we celebrate Pesach? First, you get a revelation from above. Revelation from above is Leil Pesach, Nigla Alei Melech Malachei Elohim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's a revelation. Once you have a revelation, what do you have to do? Now starts the work. So the work is, every one of us needs to work hard. Need to work hard to Sirat HaOmer, to refine yourself, to elevate yourself, get yourself somewhere. And that's why the Minchat HaOmer, Sirat HaOmer is animal food. Omer is barley, which is animal food, because you have an animal, and you have to work hard with your animal in order to elevate him. And then he explains that there's double Isaron. What's double Isaron? So we talked about yesterday. Double Isaron means you have to offer double the amount of offering. Because tzedakah means, how do you do tzedakah? You don't do it by doing things that are easy for you. To invest, to put a seed in the ground is beyond your capability. So, can you have anything to comment on the double Isaron? Just doing that part of the year, but if you saw anything that was a chiddush, I didn't have that. But, Al-Kupanim, so, Mida Beinanis, how much does a person give tzedakah?
It's the oila that comes with the. It's the oila that comes with the carbon. It's the oila that comes with the carbon omer. The mincha for the omer as a double isaron. That's what it is. But the nesachim is still a regular, but it's an unusual mincha.
The double isaron is regular, the same as everything else. The pouring, yeah.
The carbon omer is an efa, is in the isaron. I mean, is normal. It's the oila that accompanies it has a mincha and nesachim with it. The mincha is doubled. It's unusual. Usually it's one isaron. They make two isaron for that mincha.
Right. That's what he says on top of the page on Tezain, on the column 2. Those are the words. After min chosik kfula, lo yoyanasachav kfulim. Right? And then he explains what does it mean to offer mincha kfula, what does it mean to offer double? Right, so very good. So you offer the same amount. The part is, if you want a drop of rain to come from above, you have to offer 2 drops of water to evaporate. For every drop of water that comes down, you have to offer 2 drops of water to come down. And Al Derech Zeh says, if you want the bracha of Hashem, you're going to give meiser, but not 1 meiser. You're going to give 2 meisers, 2 tens. So that's 20% of tzedakah in order to get a double bracha to come down. Okay, I don't know where we're holding exactly. Finish the paragraph? Yeah, we did. So, correct. Okay, you know what? I'm going to pick it up right over here. Let's go from right over here. In the middle of page Tes Zayin, column 2. Let's go from this. Because this is the key point over here. So the line begins Psachim, it's about 15 lines in. Page Tes Zayin, Shir Hashirim, column 2. When you offer korbanos the way you're supposed to through a kohen, kohen knows exactly what to do. A fire comes down from above. So the way it works is column 2, page design. The line begins right now. Like 12 lines. So what happens is, again, it's a fascinating point that this is what he wants to get at. Gashmias is totally, the physical world is completely divine. What you want to do is put an investment into the physical world. So the way you do it is, think about it, like right now, you got to take some matzah. You got to take the physical world and form it into a matzah. How? You got to have some money. You got to buy some dough, flour, and making the dough, make the whole process. You're forming the physical world into a matzah. Then you're going to take that matzah and you got all physical, take it into your mouth, going down, 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 and you eat. Right? So now you're telling me what? If I do that with a matzah, I get a munah. If I do it without, I don't get a munah. What does that mean? You only get a munah if you eat matzah? Yes, that's the whole point. So the physical world, you can describe as the physical world is the most divine place to be in. The point is going to be that until Mitzrayim, we didn't know that. Until we went through Mitzrayim, we had no idea what the physical world's power is. So the Ovis lived in a physical world but couldn't use it. They actually stayed away from it. And the Chidush of Yitzias Mitzrayim is, then you go down to Mitzrayim, transform yourself completely, and then you're able to and then the physical world becomes holy.
If I don't know that the matzah is giving me amuna, do I not get the amuna?
Al pi halacha, you have to know that the matzah is matzah, and that's Pesach. That's all you're going to know. If you don't know, you take a piece of medicine, you don't know that it cures you, what's going to happen?
You're going to get cured.
Yeah.
So the matzah, I'm hungry, I see matzah.
In the case of matzah, you have to know that it's actually, that it is, what's it called? That it is matzah. That's a mitzvah.
We're talking about a Friday night. Somebody sleeps through the whole Shabbos. Are they Mekayim Shabbos?
Huh? What? If what?
If somebody sleeps through the entire Shabbos, are they Mekayim Shabbos?
Yes.
He's asking for a friend.
Yes, they are.
They are?
Lamitas Melachas, you did it. Okay? I'm doing Tanya a few days ahead, so in the Tanya of Yudala Nissen, which I was just this morning, that's what he explained, is that the Torah is Torah no matter what. The mitzvah is a mitzvah no matter what. You won't access it unless you have kavanah, right? You want to access
That was Shabbos. That was Shabbos and Sunday, Tanya.
Well, you're learning this Maimon now, right? So, are you learning a chiddush? No, you always like matzah, right? So what's the chiddush? Chiddush you're having is you didn't have this whole idea, right? That there's a lokus and it's penetrating the world, and you want to have a munah. The way to have a munah is by eating matzah, and you fashion the physical world into this, and the physical world is completely godly, and all that. What that does to me, I don't know about you, is it gives me a lot more inspiration in eating matzah than if I didn't have this. So it increases my kavona in matzah. So what did I do? Does it change the matzah? The matzah sustained. Two things it's going to do. Number one, it's going to get you to eat matzah more readily. You're going to be more excited about eating matzah. Number two, when you eat the matzah, the kavona is like wings to the physical mitzvah, which is the next few prokim in Tanya we're doing now in the chitas. So now does get you more excitement, but don't make matzah is matzah. And if you give a Jew matzah, and I hope everyone gave a Jew matzah, that matzah is going to be godly regardless of whether the Jew understands what it is. So the hu inyan, well, I'm shochas the ashros are in safe because malchus that's it mitzvahs. When you do this mitzvah, godliness rests there. The chadayim mishar mitzvah. So every mitzvah, what is mitzvahs? Mitzvahs are like, like it's the example of ibud oiris, which is the haftarah of Achot Pesach, the fashioning shoes. The example of Chassidus is, how do you make shoes? You take a leather thing, and you fashion the leather, and you make leather into a shoe. When the leather becomes a shoe, what happens? You now have a way to tread through the ground of Elam Hasi Agashmi. So the mitzvahs take this crass world and make it holy. It's powerful. This is like putting a seed in the ground. It's swallowed and decays. And then, out comes Elokus. Meridik. So this world is a holy place if you know how to use it correctly. Why do we count 49 days? Because when do we actually receive the mitzvahs of Torah, right? That's Matan Torah. You have to work your way to appreciate what the physical world is so that the physical world get you rid of the walls of confines of Golus and you discover the divine in it. The 49-day process is to get there. The Oz Nikar B'chinas Adam, and then you can become a mensch. All the 49 days, what are you doing? You're eating actually oimer. Oimer is animal food. 49 days is working through your midos, your emotions, to get to that level. So the difference is all 49 days, what are you eating? You're offering ma'achal beima, right? Avi sefer. You're offering ma'achal beima. That's animal food. Likutei Torah. It's animal food. Animal food, why? Because you're working with your animal. You're working with your nefesh bamis. And then when you get there, what happens? You become a mensch. What does it mean you become a mensch? You eat, first of all, that's why on Pesach you eat, on Shavuos, the korban is shtei alechem, which is chita. Lama chita? Because chita is human food, and chita is 22. Test is 22. So now you're eating godly food, real food.
What does 22 represent?
Now, why is that important? Because what distinguishes a human from an animal?
Have a great patience.
A human being speaks. He has the capacity to use 22 letters of the alphabet, right? An animal doesn't. So that's the distinction between them. The Oz is man matan Torah. So in other words, there's two parts to this. There's working through your feelings and getting sure, right, that you're aligned with Hashem and being in a state of joy. That's one fundamental element. Getting to a state of absolute simcha. Yep. Okay. Now that we got that, there's another component to it, which is, that's not the point. The point is to be able to learn the Blat Gemara and to be able to see the Elokus in the Blat Gemara, right? To truly see the Eibush today. So to receive the Torah, you have to work through all your midas, because the problem is when your midas are in that negative state, you're just blocking the Elokus. You're blocking the Elokus. Today's feed came up with a letter from the Rebbe, and the letter was like this. Such an amazing. The letter was, when Nisan comes in the month of spring, the Rebbe says. So what's the month of spring? Chodesh Aviv is, you have a winter. If you look at winter everything dies. And it's all dead and whatever. And then suddenly, what looked dead completely, suddenly comes back to life. And the spring is like, life begins. It's incredible. So that spring shows you that whatever was dead is lavdavka dead. And it comes back to life. In Mitzrayim, he says the Jews were on the lowest level ever. They mamash, he says they were slaves. Not just that, when they got to Kriyas Yamsuf, after all the miracles, they said the Malach said halal of the Avodah Zarah, halal of the Avodah Zarah. Everyone's out. What does Hashem say? 7 weeks after they get out of Mitzrayim, they were on the highest level, they received the Torah. So the Rebbe says, when you're in the lowest levels in your life, when everything's dead, you feel like you're finished, hold on tight, because what's really happening is a brand new life is being born. If you understand the cycle, Hashem says, in other words, instead of looking at yourself as despair, give it over to Hashem. There's no hope. Yeah, I got it. No hope. The yesh, ayin, and the yesh comes, a new yesh comes along. So when there's absolutely no hope, let it go, and you'll discover the elokus in it. That's a beautiful mashal.
Always a Rabashkin story, Rabbi. You always come back to that.
Malasa. Yeah. So he says, we're on page Tes Zayin, column 2, Shiur. The line begins, it's mamish the middle of the column. So you've got to put a seed into the ground. You got to put the bitachon in the ground. You got to put this example, right? Because so he says everything's it's all dead. It's going to come back to life. What does it need? Go forward. It needs you to put an investment in. If you don't put an investment in, there's a law of it. So the physical mitzvahs are the investment. How do you make korbanos? You have to take sheep, be'izim, and goats. The line begins dafka. What you're doing is fashioning the physical world to a godly reality. I'm going to add that, right, there's another way to do it. When you look at all the things happening in your life, and you suddenly start to see shgacha pratit in your life, and you look at the things that are happening, and including the things you don't like, and you start seeing Hashem in there, what you're doing in your life is fashioning the physical world to become a godly place. That's freedom. And you have to do the work because you have to put an investment in. The law of Ved, the way Hashem designed it, you got to put a zera, a seed into the ground, decays, and then you get it in fruit. The shorsh of because the physical world, where does it come from? It's the 288 sparks of Olam HaToyu. So the world comes from, what is it? It's the Eila Melochim. There were kings who ruled over Edom before there was a king to Bnei Israel. What are those kings? The things that control you. You understand? A king is one who controls you. So Gashmias is in control. But you think is in control. Why? Because Gashmias is stronger than me. The truth is in control because he has a godly force that's higher than you, and you want to access that force. That's where mitzvahs are. Again, it's a new frame. I mean, who's stronger, the Rogele or you? Try sit in front of a Rogele and see who's stronger, right? A piece of meat, who's stronger? But pay ultimate attention. The truth is he is stronger. Why? Because he has more elokus in him, because he has a spark that you need. And when you access that spark, you bring out the elokus from it, right?
I never got all the sparks stuff. I thought there was a certain amount of sparks that got lost, but in everything there's sparks.
The sparks of Kedusha in the physical world. I mean, there were 288 sparks. 202 were used in Mitzrayim. Erev Rav is 202. Alaita, and then there's 86 left throughout history. So a spark is
Microsparks.
Microsparks,
So
exactly.
everything has sparks. For sure. Like it's not like we're looking and maybe everything.
Every godly thing has sparks. Every a physical thing has sparks. I mean, what you're doing is taking it, bringing it into Kedusha, and using it for Hashem.
We're only talking about Klippus Noiga now. We're not talking about bad stuff. Like you're not supposed to look at something. Then can't sit in front of the internet, look at things you're not supposed to, and say I'm going to pull out the sparks. Right? That's not.
But yeah, the spark is by not looking at it.
I know you can say the spark's not eating the meat because you're holding yourself back. No, I mean like you can play that. You can say that
the spark is in Taryag mitzvahs. It's not just Ramach mitzvahs say. In Shasal Isas also, when you don't do the Aveira,
it's also Surah Klabachim is also okay. Right.
that rises up, the shosho ban the sanction, it's a higher name of Hashem. The hu inyan, what it means is kol kula adav shel Moshe Rabbeinu. So he says, okay. I mean, what's the entire Torah? Look at this. This is a game changer in the way you understand Torah.
What's Ban? The Ban is Hashem's name, no?
There's 4 names of Hashem, which are basically 4 ways of writing Yud Kei Vav Kei. You write Yud Kei Vav Kei 26. I mean, but then you fill up the Yud, Tavi Likutei Torah. You fill up the Yud, which is 20, because Yud Vav Dalet. Hey, Vav, Hey. So how do you write Hey? You can either write Hey Aleph, or you can write Hey Yud, or Hey Hey. And you can write the Vav, Vav Aleph, Vav, Vav Yud, Vav, or Vav Vav. So there's 4 different ways totally of gematria. I mean, and commensurate with that, what name of Hashem comes through. But not for now. So when it says, "Vaydaber Hashem Moshe lemor," what does that mean? Moshe bechinas chokma, bechinas ma, Hiler in sefer chokma, and Hashem says, "Daber b'nei Yisrael in bechinas netzach v'hoid seder ishtal shel hamshach zmin ma'ale lemata." I mean, there's a divine idea. Now, what happens is it needs to be channeled into this world. Vaydaber, the dabar kadador, dabar means the channel. I mean. Vaydaber Hashem and Moshe. Moshe is when a person lets go. So if I let go of my own self, I'm channeling Hashem. What does Hashem say? Daber b'nei Yisrael. So Daber b'nei Yisrael, b'nei Yisrael are bring it down to people who find this physical world to be real. So take a godly idea, bring it down to the physical world. That's every possible, every parsha. Vaydaber Hashem Moshe lemor, Daber b'nei Yisrael. Some variation thereof. What is that? Hashem channeled down the divine energy through a Jew letting go. That's you, you're Moshe. And he says, Daber el b'nei Yisrael. What does that mean? We were saying yesterday that when you say Shema Yisrael, realize who said Shema Yisrael? Who was the first one to say Shema Yisrael? The answer is, well, not the first, we're one of the first. B'nei Yaakov, b'nei Yisrael. Yaakov told them, you don't believe in Hashem. I don't see the Shekhinah by you. So they say, no, Hashem, we believe in Hashem. Shema Yisrael, listen Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Right? So he said, Baruch Shem V'Amavdol Olam V'Ed. They said, Kishem She'en B'lib Chai El Echad, Yechem B'libeinu El Echad. What does that mean? It means, listen, Yaakov, you're not struggling. HaKadosh. You're Atzilut. But we are Daber El B'nei Yisrael. We lower it down to us. Netzach V'Hoid is the lowest heroes. You can see Hashem. I'm struggling. But even though I'm struggling, Hashem is here. Right? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, it's also Echad. So me learning Likutei Torah right now, I'm trying my best to find some kind of connection to Hashem. That's also holy. That's the word. Ot Gimel, page 2 Tezayin, column 2. Meaning the Zois Nikra Mach Mitzvah Atet Mitzvah Shem Ramach Evarim the Malchus. The mitzvahs are called 248 limbs. Why? Because how does life flow through the body? So it goes to the limbs using the blood. Blood is where your soul is. What's the soul? The natural heat. As we know, what does the soul live off? Heat. What distinguishes a life from the habit of death? The answer is heat. A dead person is cold. When you have the opposite, God forbid, that's when you have. So istalkus, the highest malguf, it's when the highest, the life force, departs from the body. What are mitzvahs? What's their roots and their source? So what are mitzvahs? Mitzvah is a little simple thing you do. This thing is actually keter of Hashem. So there's keter mitzvot, tarach mitzvot, 620 mitzvot, 613 deoraita, 7 derabanan, for a total of 620. Why? Because what you have is 620 pillars of light. He keeps saying the same idea. Okay, Amud is the thing that binds the highest to the lowest. Mitzvah means connection, and you draw down your insoif, the established three clothes of the kli in a vessel. The ikram shochazu b'chinas gevura davka b'loy b'chinas din chas v'sholem. So what happens is that flow of divine energy from up all the way down to the bottom. That's the heat. That's the flow. Is like the blood circulates. You got a circulation of blood taking place. So what does that mean? It's the amud. There's a divine energy flowing from above all the way down here. So here's what happens. The physical mitzvah is eat the matzah. But the matzah, I don't want to eat just dough. What do I care? I mean, what's the point? there's a circulation of divine energy that tells you that Hashem is in the matzah on Leil Pesach. So that's the blood flowing through to circulate, to heat up. That's the excitement. So if you're learning that Likutei Torah, you're going, whoa, this is incredible. What an amazing idea. Yeah, so divine energy is flowing through you now. That's the blood circulating to the lymph. Get it? And
what is Beginner's Gevura versus Din? What does he mean?
say again?
What does he say? What does he mean, Gevura versus Din?
Gevura means might, to break through. It's not being, I'm not judging you, right? But I have Gevura, I have might. In other words, it's not negative. It's a positive Gevura. That's what he's saying. You get it? It's a positive. Gevura means, right? No, pardon. What does it mean?
You mean, and Din would be severity versus like restriction? Is that the point?
Yeah. Din is severity.
That's what I'm asking. Din is severity. Gibor means to like overcome, break through.
Gevura is, what does it take to not succumb to your Yetzer Hara? It's not chesed.
It's
It's an intense power inside you, right? So that Gevura is the same thing. What it takes to bring down, you're basically taking divine energy, and think about it, and you're condensing it. You're condensing and condensing and condensing, and you're simplifying it so much to say that eat this much and then this happens. It's like intense. Imagine like you're taking a massive power station, and you're condensing the power to such a low level that just this little slither, there's the power. Right? So what Hashem does is the mashal is verquetscht versus reingequetscht. Right? Verquetscht means that Tzimtzum is verquetscht. Tzimtzum means verquetscht means you're verquetscht. You're not giving me the whole thing. Reingequetscht, I'm giving you everything. I just keep it like this. In other words, if someone tells you an 18-minute TED talk, does that mean they didn't tell you much because they only spoke for 18 minutes? Hopefully, if they gave an 18-minute TED talk, they took a whole life of everything they believe in and condensed it into one little thing and packaged it. But the smaller it is, the more power it is. Once upon a time, in 1950, the computer was a house, but it was only like 34K. I mean, today you have the phone, but 2 terabytes, the little phone. So Torah and the mitzvah is Gevura because it's so powerful. I mean, it's all the power, just this little tiny thing is everything. That's the Gevura. And Adrabah, who he carries sparks of the chayes. It is the ultimate level of chayes. The shorsham, where does it come from? Because hey, Gevuras atik, mutzina de kardonisa shelamanim b'chinas chasadim. 5 Gevuras of atik. 5 Gevuras is because basically every arm has 5 fingers at the end of it. So there's chesed and Gevura. And the 5 Gevuras are 5 Gevuras are why we do 5 robber strikings on Shana Rabbah. It's Butzina de Cardonisa. I don't have an explanation why the number 5 is the 5 fingers, but it's when voice comes out of your heart, around your mouth, so it divides into 5. So I said it's 5 notes. The lips, the tongue, the lip. Yes. Because
what are the tides though? Betzina de Cardenusa?
1 second, what?
What's the tides? Betzina de Cardenusa, what's the tides?
Betzina is the light of the torch light, whatever. It's a fire, a huge fire.
Okay.
So when you eat any food and you make a bracha on it, isn't that what you're doing? You're
Absolutely.
And so how's this different?
That's not different. He's just explaining to you what mitzvahs are. He's explaining to the process why.
Versus any other food.
No, it's not. I just brought the matzah. Don't blow matzah. He didn't say matzah. He said he said matzah, but he said a few mitzvahs. Matzah, tefillin, every mitzvah. He's saying that's why you're going to go through Mitzrayim.
Matzah is specific in a different way.
What he's saying, he's explaining Mitzrayim. Why? I understand. You live in a physical world, right? So you're physical. Now, you don't understand. This physical world is divine. So you have to go through a complete process of Yitziat Mitzrayim, getting out of your Mitzarim, in order to start realizing, and then Sfirat Omer, to get the Matan Torah to realize, oh my gosh, this physical world is godly. Elokut is right here. Right? This physical mitzvah, getting out of the way you view the world, right? If I give you chesed, you get makif, you get an aura of things. Aura means intensely, like pitching its intensity. The mitzvah is intense. From chesed, what do you get? If someone showers you with chesed, what do you get? You get it, but you don't, it's like in the back, you don't actually get it. Chesed is much more powerful. Avraham was such a Baal Chesed that even the convinced, Ishmael was convinced. But yeah, sure. Right?
Convinced.
But then Sarah says, kick him out. Because no, that's not. Right? It's like, don't be nice to everybody. Be very clear. No. Jews have a problem. Too much chesed. Gvura is pnimi. Gvura says, let's understand exactly where the chayas is going to. Right? In other words, Gvura says, Stof's man kriyat shema 9:49. And then you say, if I say 9:50, I don't get the mitzvah? Correct. You're being so harsh. Yeah, but that harshness is what gets you to do the mitzvah. It's the clarity of the mitzvah. You got to lean to the left. בדיוק. כמו שהשפועת לגבור, זה מבחינת פנימיות דווקא, כמו השפועת חייס בעבר. Because you got to connect exactly this and nothing else. So let's get to where we're going with this. The whole question in the beginning of the Maimer was, why are mitzvahs called fruits? Because if your children are your fruits, I get it. Why are mitzvahs called fruits? The analogy is exact, because the way you make a fruit is you put a seed in the ground. And nobody knows what on earth is that seed. It looks like, if I ask you what the seed is, if you saw a little black speck in the table, what would you say? It's a black speck, throw it away. No, that black speck is an apple. So God needs me to put the black speck on the ground? Yeah, he does. ולזוהי תקרא מצווה שם פרש הוא על דרך מושך מהמוזן של פנימיוס. והוא עיקר חייס הגוף. כי לא יחיה בלי טרף ומזון. You can't eat, you can't live. The body lives off food. You can't live without food. אף שיסלבש או כמה לבושים. Even if you wear a bunch of clothing. אלא אם כן יאכל, אז יתחזקו כוחות הגוף שלך. If you eat, you intensify your body. If you don't eat, you need clothing. You must have clothing. You can't survive without clothing. But the clothing is not what's going to give you life. So the mitzvahs are called payers. Why? Because you got to put a seed in the ground, and the neshama needs the mitzvahs. It needs the mitzvahs like mo'avir linshima. V'gama mitzvot, page 32, next page. Mikroim b'shem levushim, kanei d'mayim hazeh, al posek v'apam b'zok v'avelim b'shem levushim b'chenes makit. Now, I'm talking about mitzvahs being called food, because mitzvahs are called peri. If you learn Anya, chapter 4, you discover they're not actually called clothing. Peri is called food. Peri you eat. Mitzvahs you put on. Yeah? It says, V'avraham zaken baba yamim, the Zohar says, you put on his clothing every day, put on a garment. So Torah you eat, you consume. Mitzvah you put around, you don't actually consume. It's why the mitzvahs are peri. The truth is, the reason is as follows. Very interesting. The way it works is like this. The neshama, when it gets to Gan Eden, is trying to enjoy Gan Eden. There's no way for your neshama to enjoy Gan Eden. Why not? Because kind of like trying to get electricity. And I'll get electric power for you. Want some electric power? Sure. What should I do with it? Yeah, power. Power means it'll kill me, actually. What do you do with electric power? You get your car. I mean, you make kalim, right? Make a car, you make a house, and you put outfits in or whatever, and then you can use it. It's amazing what you can do with it. But you have to make the things, the kalim, to be able to use it.
So what's the point of going to Gan Eden if you can't enjoy it?
There's no way to enjoy Gan Eden unless you don't go to Gan Eden without going to this world. You go to this world, you put on clothing, you do the mitzvahs, That's what it says. Now I'm losing which is today's Tanya, but it says Hashem. I think it's today's Tanya. No, today, I think it's today. Hashem Yishabol Lechan Talmud Biyodei. Fortunately, someone who comes to Gan Eden and his learning is with him.
Right, or else you have nothing to.
If you walk into Gan Eden without mitzvahs, you have extreme power and no way to have it. Nasi. So you got to put it on the mitzvah of the garments. Zeu mashikosu ugvois bitzdoko.
That's how much you
You will
want.
say the Nasi. Day 12. Just get someone to say it. Day 12. Nasi.
The Kirulain.
Yeah. David Leib, say the Nasi. Get someone to say the Nasi. It's Naftali. לא, יכול להגיד להם את זה.
יש לך את זה?
וזהו מה שכוסו, הוא גבויס בצדוקו.
It's like going on a camping trip. If you don't take the supplies with you,
Exactly.
you can't be there, and then what?
I like that analogy. You go on a camping trip and you don't have a tent, whatever we can do, you're gonna
Sit on the rock and watch.
But is this meant for after you leave this world? That's what everything is about. It's so you come up to Gan Eden and Elyon, or it's not for here. So we were saying the mitzvahs is the camping trip, so to speak, after you die. Is that actually what we're saying now? Because
that's Gan Eden. That's Gan Eden.
Okay, but it sounds like we're saying the mitzvahs are the vushim, so you can enjoy Gan Eden.
Wow.
So am I doing it for my after 120? That's what I'm doing all this for? I didn't think that was the case. I thought we're bringing the Ramach even the Malka, we're bringing it today, not for.
That's why mitzvah called the bushim. The mitzvah called garments because you're putting on a garment for Gan Eden. The mitzvah called peri because you're investing in fruit in order to get the elokus out of it. That seems to be more the mitzvah. In other words, what it's doing is you're transforming this physical world itself. So I think in the sense of, it could be that levushim is for Gan Eden and peri is for Olam Atchiyah.
Okay, so he's switching lenses to look at the mitzvah from a different lens. What else it does for you, I guess?
Yeah, we're not denying it's Gan Eden. Yeah, that's not.
No, I understand. I thought it was switching. It doesn't have to be reconciled. It does both things. Okay.
Yeah. Line 4. וזהו מה שכוסו בגבויס בצדוקו. חיי על מעשה המצוות. דרך כלל נקרא כל המצווה מצדוקו. All mitzvah called tzedakah. עבור בליקוטי המורים, it's explained in Tanya. והאדם המקיים מויסם נקרא בשם צדיק. The mitzvahs are called tzedakah. And the person doing the mitzvahs is called a tzaddik. Shua said tzedakah. You get it? Just like someone comes over and he has no food, and you say, I'm going to give you food. So what you just do, you help the guy, shkoyach, you gave him food to eat. So Hashem says there's a world, and the world is decrepit. The world is ugly. Until comes a Jew and he says, I'll do tzedakah for you. Well, what's my tzedakah? I'm going to put on tefillin today. I'm going to say Shema. I'm going to eat the matzah. I'm going to give matzah to another Jew. Hope you did. So think about it. When you're doing the mitzvah, just like tzedakah gives one mitzvah gives life to the other person, so every mitzvah you do gives life to the world. You portion mechaya the world. What does it mean mechaya the world? The world is not alive without you. No, it's not. Tzedakah means you take a guy that doesn't have money,
You help him.
and you help him out, and now you can make yom tov. The world is an ugly place. No, the world.
Help the world.
The world's just a disgusting place, and suddenly the world gets a course in it.
Makes sense.
No, bigger.
Get stuck.
Baruch Hashem. ועוד נקרא צדק. אך על דעת צדוקו, sorry. So he says, mitzvah is called tzedakah. Why? יהיו צדיק, ואי צדקה בחינס מלכוס. צדיק, יש צדיק ויש צדקה. ועוד נקרא צדק. Interesting. צדק, צדיק, and tzedakah. Yeah? So he says, the mitzvah is called tzedakah. What's tzedakah? Tzedakah is, when the world receives the mitzvah, that's the recipient, the female, tzedakah. Tzaddik is a guy who's causing it to happen. Tzedek is the process. So now you draw tzedakah into the world. So what he's saying is, poor world. Everyone knows in the world is just an ugly, unholy place, contaminated place, etc. But when a Jew comes up, and what does he do?
Mitzvahs.
As mitzvahs in the world,
Turn it to holy.
then it's not. Then you realize not that you can also bring holiness to the world. No, you can only find holiness in the world.
Everything else is sheker.
No, I'm saying the spiritual world don't have it. You can't eat matzah unless you're a physical being. Only the physical world is holy. So now you do tzedakah with the physical world. So he comes in, he's like, I'm going to do the mitzvah. And maybe you're bringing, you're giving the world some existence.
We all working just to get to Gan Eden eventually?
Can you help me with that question?
How many months
Aren't we all working just hard to get to Gan Eden?
are you playing devil's advocate?
Yeah, mute. You're muted.
Know what you're going to answer?
It's muted.
Rabbi, you go. You're gonna be better.
Come on, you do that one. That one's for you.
No. Go, Rabbi, go.
יואב, מצוות צוותא, קונקשן, אתה מחבר.
אין בעיה, אבל אנחנו עובדים בסופו של דבר כדי להגיע לגן עדן, לקבל כמה שיותר זכויות לגן עדן.
See, the time a guy walked in and he's like, what are you saying? What are you saying? The goal is not done.
עובדים פה, עושים מצוות פה, כן, העולם הזה גשום. צריך
order to get to העולם הבא.
כדי להגיע לגן עדן.
זה באמת כתוב במשנה, יפה שעה אחת של קורת רוח בעולם הבא מכל חיי העולם הזה. אבל the beginning of the Mishnah says, יפה שעה אחת בתשובה מעשית בעולם הזה מכל חיי העולם הבא. Simple question, do you want to die to get to Gan Eden? Do you want to get Gan Eden? I can get it for you right now, it's very easy.
לא.
Hello,
עדיין לא מוכן.
you don't want it, so you don't want the reward. So it's not a good reward. If you don't want it now, it's not a good reward.
To get the Gan Eden.
The ultimate purpose of the world is that the physical world should become holy. Because if the physical world doesn't become holy, what it means is that God is not everywhere. It can only be spiritual. And our goal is that we live in Olam Hazeh HaGashmi. Look in the Rambam, purpose is physical world, this world. The difference is just that the Iranians are going to have a regime change and then everyone's going to love us and everyone's going to be whatever. And miraculous in this physical world, that's what we're going to be. Because you want to be in this physical world, right? Ultimately. So that's what Hashem wants also. Gan Eden is a problem. Gan Eden is a technical problem on the way. If you die before Mashiach comes, Chas v'sholom,
No, but it's coming.
but Mashiach is that this physical world becomes holy. So the difference is, we're not doing it. If you're doing a mitzvah to get a reward, it's like you go to school, right? So when you go to school, they teach you, you get this thing, and there's no, just like I'm going to give you a fake reward. I'm going to give you a merit, I'm going to give you points, and you get a report, and you get a thing. It's all fake. What's the real deal? Where do you want to get to?
Become a doctor.
Yeah, you want to become something. You become a doctor. You actually know how to become a doctor. Don't tell me you give me points for. So too in the physical world. The goal is not to get some reward which is esoteric. The goal is that you did something in the physical world. You build Mashiach. I mean, so every mitzvah brings it. Now, when you do that, the mitzvah is a totally different league. Because if you're doing it to become the next one, you're like, who cares if it actually works or not? Just pretend like it did and it's all good. When you understand, no, the mitzvah is bringing the godly world into this. So there's a day called Yud Beis Nisan Tov Pei Vav. It needs to be shaped the right way. Otherwise, it's going to be unshaped. Big problem. Every day, every space, everything has to be shaped into a godly fashion for Mashiach to come in. In a nutshell.
אנחנו מוכנים אבל.
כן, מסכים. וזהו עניין מדלג על ההורים. Let's finish with this. So the pasuk we start off with מדלג על ההרים שבחינס אובויס ודילוג ברגל אחד. Now I think now in this Maimer you understand what we were grappling with the previous Maimer. It's the same Likud in the Maimer. מדלג על ההרים מקפץ על הגבעות. What does that mean? מדלג is to skip. Skipping is with 1 foot. You skip on 1 foot, right? מקפץ, you go on 2 feet and you go a high jump. מקפץ על הגבעות. שהקיפוץ בייס רגליים כאחת שהוא בכנס, why do you have that 2 feet? Because 1 foot is just chesed, love. 2 feet is small doycha b'min mekareves. The left side pushes away and the right side hugs. What we need to have is we need to have a complete transformation. Presumably what it means is like this. We have to jump over everything that Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah believed in. And they were holy people. And we're going to jump completely over everything they had because they couldn't do it in the physical world. They didn't have the power of the physical being actually godly. Because the Matan Torah wasn't giving it. Right? Yeah. So you jump over the others with 1 foot, you jump over the Imois with 2 feet. What does that mean? And now, should be beginning a mitzvah based beginning 2 level to mitzvah say, Pnimim umakifim, pnimius mol doicha shelo yitiashpo rak lefi erech hamakabel. Mashen ken chasadim shem sheresh hamakifim yeredim mokem van mokem no machmoi. There's 2 things that have to happen. Number 1, you have to say no. You have to learn, right? Everyone knows in business, the art of business is to say no. I will not doing that. I'm not doing that. I know I can make money there, but I'm not going to do that. That's not me. That's not my business. I am in this line of business and not that. So a Jew says to himself, 9:49 and says Man Krishma. So if I want to have, Horus and holy things, I can do it. But 9:49, you finish Shema. And the matzah, going to be done, leaning to the left, exactly this way, you're going to do it. Right? So you got to do the exact mitzvah the way Hashem wants it to. That's 1 foot. That's Gvura. Then you're going to have another foot, which is this extremity of making sure every single Jew gets matzah. What do you mean you don't get matzah? We're going to transform the physical world. Right? So there's exactly this way, but there's an absolute excitement of doing it. Okay, a bit of a steer, you obey. Because it means, like, you have to be fanatical. Right? You see in Chabad, it's funny because, like, there's a lot of love, right? Everyone could do mitzvahs and whatever, and then this and this, whatever, like we try and reach everyone. And then I was sitting last night by Halacha Shiur, by Mordechai Forkish gave Halacha Shiur. So I listened to him. So he's saying, like, you come to the Seder and you have a lot of Friday people there, and the love is flowing, right, in the air. And then, like Rabbi Kantor was saying, he says, but they all want to take pictures. They can't take pictures. So solve the problem. We start the Seder an hour before. He says, it's not possible for an Israeli backpacker to come to your Seder and not take pictures. So he makes Seder an hour before, take pictures and whatever. And then he says, they were discussing, what are you discussing? You're doing love. But then you lean to the left, drink the wine now. No, the second wine cup now. The third cup you have to wait for then. You can't just drink 4 cups of wine together. And the guy's like, leave me alone. Right? There's love, chesed. Then there's rules and regulations of how you have the love. Chesed ukvura, those are the 2 feet you're putting on. In order to do mitzvahs, you have to have both feet firmly.
That's also love. Think about it.
No, it's not. It's very limiting.
No, you cannot love them. That's why you do
that's why you do it, but you do Gvura. That's what it means. Mekapet al agvoy. To get it, you're jumping with both feet, with a saying no and saying yes. שבבחינת המצווה יש בייס בחינס האלה פנימיים ומקיפים. ובחינס פנימי הוא שמאל דויכה, שלא יתשבור כנפי המקבל. You want to give it only this, מה שאין כן בחינס החסדים. ושאר שהמקיף מיד המקבל מקבל מקבל. I want to finish with this נקודה ביה. אז זו יסדימה אימוי שבחינס המצווה כנל לגבויס בצדוקו. Okay, we'll leave it up tomorrow. We'll discuss what the imois and the others is and wrap it up over there. So the point over here is that he says, if you go back to the first passage we saw at the beginning of the previous mimer, right? That's the beginning of this, which was on page Yud Daled. He says, there's a little voice of Elokus coming into you. And he says that the place you're in is the best. You're a Jew. You're doing mitzvahs. You're awesome. You're unbelievable. The matzah is the greatest thing you could ever do. Don't get depressed. You're eating matzah. So the problem is you're going to be medalik alehorim mekafetz elak voice. You're going to jump over everything the others believed in. With 1 midah for chesed and double for the imois. To say tomorrow why. My voice is, remember, like that. My beloved is like a deer because he goes 180 degrees and he turns around. What does that mean? Everything you believed in, switch it over completely. The physical, which is ugly, is not. It's godly. The holiest place to be in. Okay, Machal, with Hashem's help.
Zoom?
The Rebbe only had what, Rabbi?
8 o'clock?
No, the Rebbe had a lot of Gvura. When the guy comes to the Rebbe and he says to the Rebbe, I want to, here's a Jews for J thing. He throws it on the ground, whatever. The Rebbe has a lot of Gvura.
Jewish people, you can have it.
The Rebbe was very direct. He was European.
Yeah.
So a Jew who came, for that.
Okay, shkoyach. Sei gesund, everybody.
Thank you.
Yom Tov. Andrew, so nice to see you. Look, Andrew's there.
Andrew, don't hide yourself. We see you. Okay?
Eretz HaKodesh.
Hey,
Look at that. Look who's there.
Wow.
yeah.
Supposed to be there tomorrow.
Are you
I'm Bezrat
fighting in
Hashem.
Gaza?
I wish I
fighting in
do
Gaza or
this
what?
more often. It's just that my work, I have to have sound in my
Are you-
ears for my work. So like, it's just a lot of times it just conflicts. But today worked out, thank God. Miss you
Wow,
guys.
this is the wonder. One day you were here, the next day gone.
He's in Efrat, the Holy Land. Be that.
Yeah, it's wild.
Who's your
guys.
cousin? Who's your cousin?
Your father's very happy. I'll tell you that. I see him posting every day. My son, he's very, very,
Oh,
very
really?
happy. Yeah.
That's
Andrew, who's your
sweet.
cousin here? Someone's your cousin that we got to know lately.
No, your cousin, Goddessman.
No, someone else over here is your cousin. I know it was my cousin.
Here by you guys? Who we talk in Maya and
That's
Israel
another-
you're talking about?
Some new guy is your cousin. I forgot who. I'm gonna remember
New
soon.
guy. My cousin.
Anyway.
What?
Okay.